Do you remember Dead Realm? Chances are you probably do, considering you clicked on this video, or you looked at the title that had the Vanoss crew in it and you decided to click it. Dead Realm is a game that was promoted heavily by Vanoss Gaming and is mostly connected to the Vanoss crew, which is a popular YouTube group that has been around for years. They're one of my favorite YouTube groups, and I simply thought it would be interesting to make a video where I go over Dead Realm, see what the game was, what happened to it, and simply if it was any good. I'm going to try to get into this because this is probably going to be a long video, so grab a snack or do something else while I ramble in the background. Dead Realm is a killer versus survival game, kind of like Dead by Daylight, which would come out later. Dead Realm was published by 3 Black Dot and created by Section Studios and released into Steam's Early Access in July of 2015. It also had a VR spin-off a few years later, which is actually still available for purchase. According to the wiki, the game's creative directors included the Syndicate Project and C-Nanas with the help of Vanoss Gaming. The game seems to be mostly promoted by the YouTubers that played it, some having involvement in the project while others didn't. The main people that really played this game was the Vanoss crew, which is why it ended up being so tied to them. You'll see in a bit into this video that there is one specific YouTuber who wants to make it clear this was not their game.
Don't lump us, it was not our game!
Which he is right about. They didn't create it, the Vanoss crew, entirely. I mean, I guess according to the wiki, Vanoss did help it in some way and did have ties to the game, but not the entirety of the Vanoss crew. It is not made by the Vanoss crew. However, the Vanoss crew are the main people that played the game and made videos on it. The game ended up shutting down in 2020. They actually made it free for a little bit before they shut it down. However, that does leave the question, how many people did play Dead Realm? And doing a quick search, I found a website that listed the most players it ever had at one time. 1,844 in November of 2015. And I'm not gonna lie, that really surprised me. Vanoss's videos on Dead Realm have gained millions of views. So it kind of surprised me that it only ever reached nearly 2,000 players at a peak. So with a little information on the game, and now that I've told you it's shut down and its highest player count, I think the best place for us to start, and the one that people are most interested in, is the Vanoss crew's reaction of Dead Realm. Right, so one of the first places we should look is probably with the Vanoss crew themselves. I mean, that's who you came here for. You came to this video because it probably had the Vanoss crew in the name. However, there's only 2 videos of people asking the Vanoss crew about Dead Realm, and one of those is from Kermit the Pog, and the other is a Terrorizer Clips channel. Well, the Kermit the Pog one mostly just had Terrorizer laughing and saying the game's dead. It also had Vanoss saying a little bit about money and the cost of running a game and all that stuff.
Thinking 5, will you guys play Dead Realm again? No.
Yeah, I don't know how it works when it comes to that. Every time I think about the actual details of making a game and then keeping it running,
Yeah,
it's so fucking difficult, so expensive.
You have to keep the servers alive and keep a team on top of it. It's a lot.
And for the Terrorizer and Friends clip, Terrorizer does talk a little bit about how he wasn't really involved in the game.
Mr. Hellcat donated $10 and 0 cents bribe. Please consider creating more content on Dead Realm. I came across a creator win bonus, so I'm not playing the game. The editing, humor, all reminding me of how much I enjoyed your videos.
Do you say Dead Realm? You can still play it? I'm not trying to shit on a game that I have no ownership. I have no connection with the game. I just helped them with early testing, and they used me. Okay. All right. It wasn't my game. I had no money. I can shit on this game.
So with these 2 bare bones answers, I don't really know what to do. I mean, you came in for the Vanoss crew and you're not really getting any information off that. Is that Nogla stream? Okay, so this was when a genius plan was hatched. What if I simply just ask one of the Vanoss crew members what their opinion was on Dead Realm? And so I did that. I went in the Nogla stream, nervously typed out my message, and after a few minutes of worry and dread, I pressed the button and my message went through. Only for it to not be seen, as Nogla was too busy telling a story about McDonald's.
Alright, funny story yesterday, guys. Right, I got McDonald's. I don't judge, I got McDonald's. But I had the iced tea, the fish fillet, and Brian got McDonald's that same day. Okay, and I goes, I don't believe it, Brian. What'd you get? Okay, Brian, he got the chicken selects that are only available in Ireland, right? And then three people got McDonald's on the same day. Look what Evan got. Wait, hold on. Look what he got, dude. He got McDonald's. He sent the picture to the group chat. Everybody got McDonald's that day.
If you want to see that story, it's also on Kermit the Pog's channel. Fun fact, he now works for Nogla. Nogla has hired this guy to just do it on one of Nogla's channels called Nogla the Pog. He got a job for this. So after he didn't respond to the first one, I wasn't sure about writing a second one, because the first one already felt a bit rude to ask. But after a bit, asked him a second time. However, that second time he was eating and then proceeded to put on one of him and Terrorizer's Reacts videos. At least he asked for game recommendations. I gave him one. Inscription, great game, should be played more, loved the game. And he actually read it out.
Alatro is a good one, man. Pokerogue is a good one. Inscription is like 8 hours? That's gonna be hard. I want something that could be a good mocap video.
Well, that was pointless. I didn't get an answer, and he's probably not going to play Inscription. Even though he did his first Balatro stream and ended up playing for 7 to 8 hours straight.
Gotta get lucky. Here we go. Oh, we got it. I think we got it. Oh my fucking... Oh. This game is pissing me the fuck off. Who are we gonna... Damn, this was an 8-hour fucking stream. Are you serious?
I can't even blame him, honestly. I am playing a lot of Balatro as well. You can see the background footage in this is Balatro. Hold on. There's one crew member that streams a lot, and I could probably ask. Who would that be, you may wonder? Louis Caliber. Yeah, so Louis was also streaming some days after this, and while he was never in any of the Dead Realm videos, he is still a member of the Vanoss crew, so my curiosity, it got the better of me. A few streams later, actually, I finally got to ask him while he was playing Sonic Mania, and he actually responded. He gave us a response, which I'll play now. God, I wonder what Louis going to say about this game.
I have no idea, dude. I don't know what happened to Dead Realm. I wasn't even a part of that project, so...
I really regret making this video. Okay, so, yeah, that's all I got. God, there really is no footage of the Vanoss crew members saying anything about Dead Realm. Wait, what's that? A Nogla and Terrorizer Reacts video. Why is that important? Oh, they randomly start talking about Dead Realm. Okay, so, yeah, in a delirious misspeaking video, which I just happened to stumble across because I was watching them, obviously, and this video popped into my recommended. Yep, at one of the points, they speak about Dead Realm, and even show some footage of the game, which I've used in this video already, and they also talk a bit about Dead Realm. So in the video, Terrorizer mostly just goes on about how it isn't their game and how he got no money from it.
We're finally addressing the failed Vanoss crew game. We've ignored it for so
It
long.
wasn't our game. Don't lump us. It was not our game.
It was the Vanoss crew game, man, and we failed, dude. Just like we failed the calendar.
We.
Yeah.
Because people like were saying in videos it was our game, and I'm like, I ain't making no money for that. I don't own this shit. I just played it. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not gonna say names of who could have shares in it. I don't know. But I definitely made nothing from it.
Other than that, there isn't really anything new to go over. There is a few small things I may talk about later, such as people's playtimes on the game. However, this video was pretty good for giving me background footage. Also, if I can have my little ramble, I just want to talk about Louis' streams because they're so funny to me for no reason. This guy will stream anything. It will go from, oh yeah, playing GTA today, to I'm building a table. I'm waiting for my food. Like, I'll get a little notification. Louis Caliber is streaming. Oh, cool, what's Louis streaming? And then I just can't help but hop in for a few minutes and see how his progress is going. It's so funny to me for no reason. So that really does conclude our whole section on the YouTubers' opinions of Dead Realm. But what about the fans' opinions on Dead Realm? Dead Realm reviews. I probably should have went into this before I looked at what the Vanoss crew thought. But yeah, it's finally time we look at the actual reviews from people who bought Dead Realm. Some of these reviews, especially Google reviews were absolute shit. Most of the reviews I was seeing on Google were 5 stars. I've never played the game, but I watched Vanoss play it. Going on to Steam, the reviews, they're a bit mixed. Okay, so first we're going to read some positive reviews, and then we're going to look at the negative reviews. And then I'm just going to tell you, like, overall some of the stuff I was seeing. This is from somebody with 30 hours, wow. What a game. So, I originally bought this game because I love the concept of hide and seek kind of feel. And because I was watching a lot of Vanoss videos with H2O, I thought the game would be a good way to show support. Yeah, I was wrong because the game itself is pure genuous and worth every penny. I've definitely read that wrong. I've never seen a more stable game release. If I did not know, I would have thought this was a full game with limited maps. The game plays so extremely well, it's amazing. Probably the best indie game out there without a doubt. Audio, great atmosphere, style, tiptoes, tapping, noises, screaming, screeches, and much more awesome in-game sounds. The graphics are pretty good. The controls are really simple and easy to grasp. The game has some amazing little quirks built into it, like multiple hiding places, hidden places. I'm not kidding. You can go through so many levels behind paintings, through fireplace walls, up and over, under stuff, in stuff. If you can get a full team, all with microphones, then this game shines. I cannot praise this game enough. Just say that early access is worth the time and money. Here's one from 2015's early access. So, Dead Realm. In short, I do recommend the game as long as you and your friends all buy them together. Otherwise, you'll be plagued with solo queuing, annoying YouTuber fans who screech catchphrases at every little thing. Yeah, the people sometimes suck, but the game itself is fantastic. It's essentially the same old hide-and-seek you grew up with, and eventually played in Gary's mod, I'm sure. While not as expansive as Gary's mod is now, with maps and such, Dead Realm has the core gameplay down. Great horror feel, good mechanics, and diverse maps keep the fun going. But with only 3 maps total, the hiding spots tend to be the same. Unfortunately, the worst issue is the VoIP system. The chat is reduced to toggle on/off, which means often you'll be in lobbies with young children who are screaming and hollering at every door opening. Still a fun game, but yeah, the people suck, so buy it with friends or wish for the best. Here we go, 2018, 57 hours on record. There are no people playing this game, but the community needs to come together to join and make lobbies for new people to see that this game truly is something. It offers a lot of scares and a lot of good times, but it's hard to find lobbies, fantastic potential, wonderful atmosphere, a good sense of itself. I just hope that it doesn't fall prey to we have all your money because of early access, so we have no incentive to keep developing. This certainly is a project I would like to see flourish. 4 hours on record, early access review. This really is a fun game, especially if you have multiple friends who are actually willing to play with it. Very great and thrilling, suspenseful game. Credit to Vanoss for making me want the game. Our first negative one is a guy with 1,000 hours saying, extremely disappointed in the game. I saw potential when it first released, but there are hardly any players in the server. Weather is extremely laggy, so if you're going to play with friends. But if you plan to play solo, then you're basically out of luck. Here we go. We have a negative review here from 2019. Dead Realm is quite literally a dead realm. The developers are charging £11 for an abandoned, broken, buggy mess that they have no intention of fixing. You're better off buying Dead by Daylight or Friday the 13th if you want a survival horror game to play with your friends. The game was amazing and so much fun to play. Then the November 2015 update was released, and major bugs, extreme lag, and random mouse spins making players' control frustrating broke the game for everyone. It has now been 3 months without a single word from the devs. They could easily have reverted to the previous working version until this one is fixed if they plan to continue updates. Now, the only conclusion all the players reached is that the project has sadly been abandoned and is only being left online as a cash grab. Many previous players have reported that there are no replies to their emails to the studios and devs. This was one of the only multiplayer games I enjoyed. Really missed playing it, but the last update made the game unplayable for everyone. The game went from early access peak of 1,800 players online down to 30 or fewer new purchasers trying to play it, most having refunded while they can. I would have gladly given the game an 8.5 out of 10 with the previous version. Sadly, I cannot even give it a 1 out of 10 because it's no longer playable. Unless a dev returns to pick up working on the game again someday, I have to give it a sad 0 out of 10 and warn that it is currently just turned into a cash grab. Before buying, check the forums and you'll see the bug reports for the last update, and not one single post or response by the devs in 3 months. I was pressured by friends to buy this game because they saw YouTubers who yell and scream about how much fun they had for 10 minutes. I regret it. Buy Dead by Daylight instead of this game not being updated. I feel we got a decent idea of what the players thought about Dead Realm. It seems it was mixed if people liked it or not. However, even some of the people who did like it did have to agree that there were some issues of like servers simply just being dead. I think there was definitely a large amount of people who wanted this game to succeed and flourish. However, from the reviews, it seemed like a lot of people were having just issues simply connecting and playing the game, and they didn't see average updates from dev teams, which made a lot of the player base feel 3 Black Dot had taken their money and ran. A lot of people felt the YouTubers themselves took the money and ran. There was a comment or two saying that Vanoss scammed them. In conclusion, reviews were pretty mixed. However, it did seem like for a lot of this game's lifetime, the player base of it just felt left behind and used for money. Here's something to note. I myself never played Dead Realm. If you played Dead Realm, I'd like you to leave in the comments below, like, how was playing the game for you? Did you enjoy it? Did you have these lag and server issues that we're talking about? Did you play with strangers or your friends? I'm going to mention Dead Realm's controversy while I'm here. This is kind of taken from the wiki. So, in the development, the game's creative directors included the Syndicate Project and Scene Anners with the help of Vanoss Gaming. You see, remember C-Nana, as I mentioned him earlier, and now we're rolling back to him. After 3 YouTubers involved in the production published their Let's Play videos on the game, they encountered controversy due to the fact they'd not clearly disclosed their financial ties to the game, which was a violation of FTC's disclosures set guidelines. I think some of them just simply added in their descriptions that they were tied to Dead Realm, but I know Vanoss in some of the later videos would start it off by saying or showing a screen that did mention he was tied to Dead Realm. Think now about when you see ads in a video about a YouTuber talking about Raid Shadow Legends or something. They often disclose it's an ad. Think about when you're scrolling and you see that little paid advertisement thing in the corner, because those need to be disclosed. People need to say and be clear about when things are advertisements. It's not a huge controversy, however, it is just something to mention, as it does go against some laws that you have to follow. In the next section, I'm actually going to see the Dead Realm gameplay, and if it looks anything unique and worth playing. I really am curious about its potential, because I hate wasted potential. That shit crushes your spirit. It really does. It crushes your soul. Alright, before we jump into it, I just want to mention I have taken so long with this video that one of the clips I showed in the previous section has now been uploaded onto one of the Nogle Eclipse channels. So, let's try to get through this section as quickly as possible. So, I went back and watched every Vanoss Dead Realm video. This is just to note, I'm seeing the game through the view of the YouTubers who played it. It can make something look better than it is, and it can leave certain things out. So if I talk about something that I think looked pretty decent and it turns out it was actually quite shit, or I don't talk about something that was really good because the videos didn't really show it, then I'm sorry about that. I'm just going off the stuff I have. So overall, I'd say the game is fine. I think there's a lot of fun to be had with Dead Realm, but I can also see some problems of it getting boring. Some of the things like the abilities, I did kind of like. The camera system, I think, was a good addition. Because this is a hide and seek game, players are going to be stuck in one location for quite a while. So it's nice for those players to have some sort of thing to still see what's going on and not just feel bored as they sit there for 5 minutes. The survivor decoys feel a bit unique, mostly compared to Dead by Daylight, which is the main other survivor killer game. At first, they struck me as a bit weird because they felt like it didn't really fit with the game, but it's something different. And it can play off decently well, allowing players to get to new spots and ways to run away. I would recommend maybe giving them a few new abilities, like maybe a running decoy could be pretty interesting. You send your decoy to the left while you run to the right, and now the killer's got to decide what one it is. The review earlier saying about how there's so many hiding spots definitely wasn't lying. Even if they're just behind paintings or some closet, it's still nice to have. Although I could see this potentially backfiring, as maybe there's too many spots, so it can feel a bit overwhelming to people. But I'd say it's fine. There was also some small things like a character creator for people to suggest their own custom skins. I don't know if any were actually added, but it's a nice thing to have. I also give the game credit for being Mac compatible. The main issue, I just think it would get repetitive after a while. While it's a hide and seek game, the videos do just make it feel more like running away from a killer. Which I get why the videos show that, because it's more entertaining to see somebody running around and being chased than just sitting under a table for 5 minutes. And there is different game modes, including one with guns where you try kill a ghost. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not really a fan of that one. One issue I do have so much, the killers. The problem I have with the killers is that they all play the same, which is fine. You can have games where people play the same. My issue is just if I'm waiting months for an update, because as we've seen, updates take forever. If I'm waiting months for an update finally comes out and they go, hey, we've released a brand new map and a brand new killer. And I try play the killer and I discover the killer plays the exact same as every other killer. I'm gonna feel like I've been a bit scammed because it doesn't feel like a new character. And Dead by Daylight has new abilities for each killer. So when a killer comes out, it gives people something new to play around with. Dead Realm doesn't have that. Dead Realm just has, hey, here's a new map you can play for a bit. And speaking of killer abilities, I don't even know if Dead Realm. So I was watching the final video and you can see it for like a split second. You can see little text that says like this character's ability is that the Banshee does this for difference, which I guess it's nice to have different killer abilities, but all the killer abilities just boiled down to the Banshee either lasting longer or like recharging quicker. I'm still saying you can have the Banshee. I think one good change would be to give each killer some kind of unique ability to try separate them a bit. So when a new one comes out, it actually feels like something interesting that may change up the game and players can, test around with a bit and see what one they enjoy. I don't know, add some ghost that has the ability to mess with the player's radar and cameras. So whenever the ghost activates it, all players, their radars and their cameras stop working for a set amount of time. But yeah, I just feel abilities would be a nice thing considering the players get stuck on these one maps for so long, and it could just be a nice thing to have. Speaking of players being stuck on maps for so long, this game should have taken advantage of the fact it was on Steam. And by that I mean the Steam Workshop. So I don't know how hard it would have been to implement the Steam Workshop, but I think it would have been a potential gold mine. The Steam Workshop would have allowed players to potentially make their own maps, which would fill the void for the players of not having updates for so long, and then could also benefit the Vanoss crew, because I feel like a lot of the stuff they did for like Gmod death runs and hide and seeks were custom maps. So then you'd get a lot of Vanoss fans making maps for them, and it would just be a good thing for Dead Realm to potentially add to give extra content to the game. So there's my few positives, there's my few complaints. I'm sure if I spent more time on this, I could think of and write up a few more. But overall, I would say the gameplay is fine, but there's definitely some things that could have been added to make it more unique and just something that could maybe drag the lifespan of this game a little bit longer. So, my final thoughts on Dead Realm is, well, the game seems fine. I'm not gonna give some exaggeration like, oh, it's the best game you're ever gonna play in your entire life. Oh, it's the worst game. It's so bad. I think the game itself is fine where it is. However, just because a game is fine doesn't always mean it's gonna succeed. There's, just like anything, like this video, there's a lot of problems Dead Realm has, but there's also some positives in it. I think Dead Realm mainly died because of lack of updates and people just losing interest in the project. I don't see Dead Realm as Dead Realm, I just see Dead Realm as the game Vanoss played, which I think a lot of other people have the same feel of. I don't think Dead Realm was ever able to make its own identity. I think it is just latching onto Vanoss, basically. I don't want to say 3 Black Dot was just trying to make money off YouTubers, like fans. However, I will say, I think my theory is 3 Black Dot wanted to, branch out to different things, and they thought games would be a decent idea. I mean, it makes sense. They work with YouTubers play games. why don't we make a game for those YouTubers fans to buy and the YouTubers can promote it? However, I think again, due to lack of updates and maybe just the game not being super interesting, it eventually fell off and died. Dead Realms seems like a fun game for you to just get on and play with your friends, maybe like once or twice. Dead Realm is probably the kind of game your friends tell you to buy, and then you guys play it like once or twice, and then it just sits in the back of your Steam library forever. I think after a certain amount of time, Three Black Dot probably noticed it wasn't making any money, and as Vanoss and Terrorizer said earlier, with the cost of making a game and keeping it running, it might not have been profitable for Three Black Dot to keep the game up, so they decided to cut it. It's also questionable if them making the game free was a last-ditch effort to try give it some players and potentially revive the game, or if it was just a nice little thing to go, hey, whoever wants to play it, just play it. I think you can still play it today through like local servers, but you can't buy it. Yeah, so overall, I guess it's a fine game. It just died off. I don't think it ever has a chance of coming back. I think even the like market it's in of those killer versus survivor games is so heavily taken over by Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight already has the benefit of having fan bases from all over horror because they're constantly getting licensed killers like, oh, we've got Michael Myers, we've got the Alien, we've got Resident Evil characters, which I actually saw when I was checking the Steam stats for them. The month they released some Resident Evil characters was like their highest played month, which I guess it makes sense for Dead by Daylight. They keep partnering with games and fans from those games will come in. It's already gone in with so many fan bases. Meanwhile, Dead Realm just really appealed to Vanoss fans. Obviously, there is other YouTubers that played it and their fans also probably looked at Dead Realm, but Vanoss, again, is the main one. I'll give Dead Realm credit for being an indie game and the studio's first attempt at making a game. I always like to see indie games, and just indie projects in general are always amazing. I think Undertale also released the same year as Dead by Daylight, which is a very well-known indie game. And also, I've mentioned in this video multiple times Balatro. You can see the background gameplay is Balatro, which is made by one guy and was even nominated for Game of the Year, which is such an impressive achievement for an indie game. And Balatro definitely deserves it. It's a fantastic game. I've enjoyed playing it so much. I also enjoy other indie projects, which I'd love to talk about on the channel, including things like Murder Drones, which I made a short for recently. And before I do end this video off, I do want to talk a little bit about the Vanoss crew. They're one of my favorite YouTube groups. I've been watching them for years. I do want to give them credit for how it feels like they do kind of what they enjoy. When I was still in the process of writing for this video, Nogla was doing a weird thing where he'd upload a video a day in like black and white. It was this weird animation. This video took me so long that he finished that. He's changed a side channel to do some like mocap stuff, which I'm assuming is something he's interested in. There's another big one, which is they recently brought in a new member to the group, Pastoroni, I think her name is. I definitely said that wrong. What was her name? It's the VTuber girl that was like friends with Nogla and you'd see her in like Among Us videos. And one of the biggest ones I want to bring up is Vanoss's music career, which I think is so great. He started his channel off doing, if you look at all his videos, they're like Black Ops 2 remix stuff, right? And recently he came out with a entire channel which is more personal and will do like more music videos, which feels like a more personal version of his Rinks stuff. which I'm just rambling, but I do think it's really great that he's still doing what he enjoys, or at least what it looks like he enjoys doing. I assume he's got a passion for music and such, so the fact he's able to make a side channel to go do that, and the same for some of their other projects, including alpha betas, and it's just like it's great that they're constantly doing new things and evolving. And some YouTubers lose their sort of fans and why people enjoy them as they continue on, but I feel the Vanoss crew have stayed pretty good, and it's just nice to see them still here after so many years. If you did enjoy this video, leave a comment, subscribe, like, it really does help. And yeah, I'd love to make more of these kinds of videos rambling about games or shows or just anything I enjoy. The Vanoss crew have obviously been something I enjoy, so rambling about them was a fun thing to do. I could easily ramble about more of their projects, from alpha betas to Team 6, or even the Vanoss superhero school. So that really does conclude this video. I've rambled on for far too long. This entire video is a ramble. And thank you all for watching. And in case I don't see you again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.